Hey friends, tis I, Brie Pie. So here is this week's Digidoodle. This was chosen by patrons, and it's Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. So the next Digidoodle will be Kate Bishop, I believe, so keep a lookout for that. If you want to vote on the poll for the Digidoodle for July 3rd, please join my Patreon where you can get all kinds of cool goodies and things, as well as access to these images for my Digidoodles. So I apologize for this one being a little bit later than normal. I got back from Disney World Saturday, so I didn't have time to get this done. There just wasn't enough time for me to do it for Monday, so I pushed it back a little bit, but she is here now, and I'm really excited about this one. So for this one, like all of them, I kind of wanted to experiment with what works best for me in digital, because I don't do digital that much. I'm going to be trying a lot of new things with this one, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with the shading on this one. So like I said, I was at Disney this past week, and it was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of really interesting things. I also spent like way too much money on Japanese candy, so, you know, I don't really have any super interesting stories from Disney. I did have a cast member ask if I was in middle school, and I was like, no, I'm in college, and he looked really embarrassed. That was not fun. I did a few art drops. So if you don't know what an art drop is, Brie can speak English today. If you don't know what an art drop is, basically you go to a park like Disney or Universal, and you drop some art in a location and post about it on Twitter and Instagram. I did 4 drops over my 3 days at Disney, one for each park, and they were really interesting. So my first drop was my big band Hollywood Glam piece, and I dropped it at Hollywood Studios. I watched from a window of a shop as a couple picked it up, and it was really cute. It's always kind of weird when you're watching people from inside of a shop, but I was shopping, so it wasn't that creepy. The second drop was Moana, whose speed paint will be going up next week, I think. And I left her at the wishing well in the Magic Kingdom. A little girl getting her pictures done found it. We were sitting across the way on some benches and we saw them find it. It was really cute. She was super excited. The third one was in Epcot, Japan. I dropped one of my kimono paintings, and I actually talked to the lady who picked it up. She gave me a hug and told me it made her day, and that was really sweet. She also tried to tip me, and I was like, no, it's free. No, all is well. But yeah, the last one was in Animal Kingdom and was Totoro. I was able to talk to the people who picked that one up as well. We were actually in Pandora, the new Avatar thing at Disney. I haven't actually seen Avatar, so I was just kind of like, okay. But yeah, it was really pretty. But yeah, I did my last drop there, and there are a lot of black lights there, so we put it somewhere in the black lights because it was at nighttime, that we thought it might get seen, and it was found by a family with a little boy, and he was like so excited. He gave me like 2 hugs, and then a high five, and he was like so excited. It was so cute. So yeah, but Disney was a lot of fun. Now I'm back home and working, and everything is back to normal. I do have to say that not being in school is kind of weird now because I have ADHD, and I like always forget what day it is, and so I don't have a set schedule for anything now. So I'm like, I have no idea what day it is. Is it Wednesday? It's Saturday? Oh, okay. So that's kind of funny. Like yesterday, because today is Monday, and I had to like stop and think for a second. I was like, wait, is today Monday? I think it is. But yeah, so, we got back Saturday, but for some reason I kept thinking it was Friday, and then yesterday I thought it was Monday, and I don't know why, but I did. So yeah, that's a thing that I do. So yeah. I've been getting a lot of questions about how I record my videos, so I guess I'll answer them. So for my Digidoodles, I just use OBS, which is free and it's really pretty good. It does have a few bugs, but it's pretty good, and it's totally free. You can use it to stream, record, that stuff. It's great. It's actually why I accidentally recorded the first Digidoodle, or streamed the first Digidoodle, like completely by accident. That was not my intention. I didn't want to do that. But yeah, it's great. For actual speed paints, like with my paintings, I get a lot of confusion about how I get my camera at that angle. And what I used before I moved was I stuck a gorilla pod in a air vent. Very professional here. But now that I've moved, I use a rig that I set up. And basically it's like, it's not professional, like, at all. It's like a rod, a clamp that clamps to the shelf above my desk, and then a chunk of wood with another clamp, and then a gorilla pod attached to that clamp of wood. And that's my rig, and it just sits over my thing, over my desk. I think you can actually see it. I post a picture of my studio on Instagram. I think you can see it there. But yeah, that's my setup, and then I have a couple of lights that sit over my desk to help light up. I also have a window up there, which is supposed to be covered, but my cat knocked down the curtains. So, yeah. Trying to think, what else do I want to talk about? I had a script, but I always talk too fast, and then my scripts don't even matter, because I talk too fast. I guess I could talk about... I was really excited about doing this piece. You'll see I was experimenting a little bit with shading and coloring, and kind of using like reverse shading, which basically, I don't remember if it's actually called that. I think it's called like reduction shading. But basically what I'll do is I take some, I do a full layer of just color, of like a dark color that I want to be my shading. And then I use that to darken everything, and then I take away parts of it to create the highlights and stuff. Right now I'm just finishing the coloring, but I really like the coloring of Sally. I like her muted colors a lot. They're really fun. So I tried to make sure I emulated those like muted soft colors she has. And I think I did it fairly well. Obviously there's a little bit of color discrepancy, but I think altogether she came out really nice. I do wish that I had done a little bit more with the background, because it didn't quite turn out how I wanted. But that's okay. But yeah. So for the next Digidoodle, I kind of want to do something a little bit more dynamic, so I'm gonna see how that turns out, but I can't promise that it'll, you know, work out right. So just like bear with me if it doesn't end up turning out how I want. I might redo it. But yeah. So here I'm just like fixing some stuff. I'm really sorry, I couldn't think of anything that I wanted to say, because feel free to ask questions, because like I was hoping to use these videos as like a Q&A, but nobody's asked me any questions, so I'm like, I don't know what to say. And I don't have that many exciting stories. Oh, I guess I could talk about, so I was at a show a while back, and I had this lady who was like super offended that my pieces didn't have eyes and faces. And so she like walked up to my table, looked at my stuff, and went, why don't they have faces? And I like went into my whole little spiel, and I was like, oh, well, I like to focus more on the costume and feel of the character. And she just sort of huffed and then left, and I was like, okay. Oh, I had this like crazy experience at a show. So I was at my show, and like this guy with a celebrity pass badge came up to my table, and I was like, I don't know who you are, but like, okay. And so I was like there, and he was talking to me, and like we had this little conversation. Sorry, and he didn't buy anything from me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then he walked away, and like I looked at his name tag, and it said Meatloaf, and I was like, what? That's gotta be like a podcast or something. And I texted my mom and I was like, some guy with a celebrity badge labeled Meatloaf just came to my table and like, I don't know who he is. He just showed up and he was talking to me and I don't know who he is. And my mom was like, yeah, that's a famous singer. He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I was like, oh, okay, because I haven't seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. And so, yeah, apparently some guy from Rocky Horror Picture Show came and talked to me at a show. So that was the thing that happened, and I didn't know. Then he came back and he bought something from my neighbor. But yeah, so that was really interesting. Oh yeah, so here's where I'm doing the, like, reduction thing. Now I'm just adding some details to her hair. But yeah, I think it turned out fairly nice. If I did it again, there's a couple things that I do a little bit differently. Like, I don't really like how I did the light streaming down. I think it's a little bit harsh and also not accurate to how light works. So yeah. Yeah. So I think that's all that I have for today. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, this piece will be available for download to patrons, so if you're interested, please check out my Patreon and donate. You also get cool goodies, which I need to make more of soon because I've had so many people pledging. I've actually run out of things. But don't worry, I will get more soon. My next Digidoodle will be Kate Bishop if you want to vote for the July 3rd one. That poll is also available for patrons. Thank you guys and have a great day. Bye!